Hey everybody, Brian Horvath here with BrianHorvath.com. I can tell people like you and like me to know, live, and love the purpose for our career and finances. And I'm thankful to be here with you for another edition of LinkedIn Live Q&A, where I get to help you master LinkedIn, make it effective for you, and help you to share your story, showcase your value using the world's largest professional network to do so. Fired up that you're here, thankful that you're here, and looking forward to jumping to today's topic. So let's go ahead and do that, right? Let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. How to start building a successful LinkedIn profile. How to start building a successful LinkedIn profile. In this LinkedIn Live Q&A, I'm going to help you with a simple strategy on LinkedIn to build your profile successfully over time. And the heart of this is that when I work with a lot of folks or hear folks talking about LinkedIn, it looks like a big fat can of overwhelm. That, oh my gosh, there's so much to do, so little time. How am I going to ever get this done? And I really want to encourage you that you can build a successful LinkedIn profile over time. But you could start today. You could start right now. You don't have to wait. So you can get in right away. So that's what I want to help you do. And I want to help you do it without overwhelm. I want to help you see it as building blocks. That's what this picture is over here, right? Just building blocks to help you build successfully your profile, one stack at a time, one block at a time. And so we're going to jump into that today. Before we get into that right away, I want to remind you, and I'm going to share with you a couple times throughout today's live about my free guide, Your LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide, a 7-step framework where you can begin to make the right connections on LinkedIn. And maybe if you already have done that, you can continue to get that done more effectively, more efficiently, more quickly by downloading my free guide, Your LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide. And you can get that at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start, and it's free. All you got to do is plug in your name and email and get that sent over to you straight away. So looking forward to hearing what you think about that too. And by the way, if you wouldn't mind, help me get this out to more people. Go into the comments, leave some comments, drop in a like, drop in a heart, whatever the case may be on social media, wherever you're watching this at. And I'd love to be able to have that help me help more people just like you, just like me. And if you have a question, I've got a new forum created called, Get Your Question Answered forum, I guess we'll call it. Go to bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian, and you can do that at any time. If you want to do that now and let me know what your questions are via that forum, that would be great. In case I don't get to it today, I can get to it at a later time or throughout the week as you're thinking about LinkedIn, as you're going through LinkedIn, as you're using it in your career or your job search, or whether you're trying to gain new clients or strategic partners, whatever the case may be, whatever you're using LinkedIn for and connecting with the 800 million people that are on the platform, whatever you're using it for, you're going to have questions. Heck, I have questions and I teach this stuff every day, but you go to bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian, and it will let me know that there's a question in there and I'll get it answered for you. That also is the fuel to this fire, to this program, or why I do this every single week, answering questions that I receive throughout the week or in conversation or via email or via from folks like yourselves to help me get more content for this program comes from your questions. So feel free to ask that question, get that question, ask it so we can get it answered, and guaranteed you are not the only person that has that question as well. So I'd love to get that answer for you and anybody else that has the same kind of question. And if you're not knowing this already, because you may be watching this live, if you're not watching it live, you're watching the recording or the replay, you can catch this live every single Wednesday and on the following channels right there on my YouTube channel, brianhorvath.com/YouTube. You can find it at Facebook/The Brian Horvath, or also on Twitter at twitter.com/The Brian Horvath as well. So I'd love to have you, if you're on one of those platforms now, to go ahead and like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Okay. Also, if you're on YouTube or as you venture off to YouTube, I post these LinkedIn Lives, do a little bit of editing and get these live on somewhat of like a replay format, or allow people to see this on my YouTube channel. And I would love to encourage you to check out one of the 100 plus videos that addresses life purpose, addresses purpose in your career, purpose in your finances, how to make the right connections on LinkedIn, and also my LinkedIn 2-minute hot tips that I put out every Friday. You can subscribe to my channel and get notified when those become available, because it's a noisy world out there, right? You want to get this great content, super fantastic content. You want to be notified when it's available for you. You can get that done by subscribing. Go to brianhorvath.com/YouTube, hit that little subscribe button, and you'll be glad that you did, because you'll be able to get this stuff delivered right to you and notified right to you when these become available. So awesome stuff. So let's get into today's content, how to start building a successful LinkedIn profile right away. And again, I want to give you a simple strategy. And you can see there in that picture, there's some building blocks there. That's kind of the premise of today's, the building blocks of how you can build your LinkedIn profile quickly, but over time, not haphazardly, but effectively. 1 second. I need to do that more often. I'm starting to get dry at the end of these videos, and it's because I don't drink enough water. But I want to help you successfully build without stress, without overwhelm, with excitement, with joy, with fire under your belly, or in your belly, fire on your booty, to get going. Because LinkedIn is the place to connect with like-minded, like-valued professionals every single day. And I want to help you build your profile, or rebuild it, reconstruct it, no matter where you're starting from, using this simple framework I'm going to share with you. Before we jump into the framework, before we jump into the building blocks, I just want to help us remember that our definition of success. And I have my own. You probably have, you have yours, maybe, hopefully. But what does that mean in general? Like, what is even success? How do we define it? And so I want us to consider this little phrase, or this little question, or bullet, if you will, about success. And this comes from Earl Nightingale, who is a author and speaker. Well, he's passed, but he started a company called Nightingale Conant years and years ago, with some of the best, and still today, the most effective self-leadership, call it self-help, if you will, content for folks to make the most out of their career, out of their lives, out of their marriages, out of their parenting, and so on and so forth. And Earl said that success is a progressive realization of a worthy dream, goal, or ideal. So let's start with that. So if LinkedIn is getting it created, getting your profile populated, getting your profile optimized, activated for service, if you will, then that's our worthy dream, goal, or ideal for today. If we're looking at what does success look like with it, I would encourage you to think about progressive realization of this dream, goal, or ideal. In this case, our LinkedIn profile. A successful profile is one that is realized over time. There's progress, and it's over time. It's not built in a day. So I really want to have you think about that when it comes to LinkedIn, is that as you're growing in your career, as your life is changing, as we're all getting wiser, right, and older, that there are experiences we've had, there are thoughts that we have, there are opportunities that we've had the chance to participate in, or opportunities we're going after. And I want you to consider what success looks like. Not this, hyperventilating, like, got to get it done, got to get it all done now, and if I don't, I'm behind, kind of thing. And I get it. I'm speaking about this because I am you. I go through this too. And it's just trying to lightly punch in the arm, encourage you, pray for you, share with you things to consider as we go about our LinkedIn journey, as we go about our career journey, our business journey, so on and so forth. Is that success should be defined as a progressive realization of your worthy dream or goal. And in this case, we're talking about LinkedIn. So I want you to consider that with other parts of your life too, but specifically when it comes to today's worthy goal of building a LinkedIn profile successfully. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So you want to start getting some notes out, listening to this. These are three core areas, or three key areas, I should say, for content within LinkedIn. So when you and I both started our LinkedIn profile, and if you haven't started already, you'll see very soon, you start off at a basic place. Then as you start populating it, you get to what's called intermediate. And then over some time, you get to all-star. Once you kind of check some boxes and get some content populated or inserted, written, and provided for in your profile, and you get to all-star status. Woo! My goal is, like with my digital course, the Ultimate LinkedIn Profile, is to help you not be basic, of course, even be intermediate, and definitely not being all-star, but being ultimate, where you are sharing your story, showcasing your value, You're seeking to serve those who need most, which you do best, and you're using LinkedIn as one of the tools to help you get that done. With that being the case, as you start building out your profile, you do have to start somewhere, and we're going to do that today. Have you consider these areas? Some of these areas you may have built out completely. Some of these areas could use some tweaking. Some of these areas are just straight up blank or not on your profile at all, and that's going to hold you back. So lean in, leverage what I'm going to share with you about LinkedIn's 3 content areas. The first one is called core. This is the core area. You see, we assembled our building blocks there. We're going to start, we're really nowhere. We're going to start building now. And the way you build on LinkedIn is starting with the core sections, if you will, the core areas within your LinkedIn profile. There are certain sections or certain pieces that are built in order for an effective framework to use LinkedIn successfully. These are the areas. So core, what does core include? Core is your about section. Core, you need to have your about section. Well, let me back up real quick. Before we even get to the about section, I want us to get to the fact that we need a profile photo. The profile photo, we need a background image. And you don't need these to have a profile per se, but I'm saying if you want to be successful, if you want to be effective, if you want to showcase your value and share your story and connect with those who need most with what you do best, then most people like to have a profile photo. That's going to get you exponential views, exponential interactions, and opportunities for connection when you have a profile picture. And then your background image can say a lot about what you do, who you are, talk about your personality, whatever. You need to have those 2 things. That's not what I'm talking about here when I talk about core. But in addition to that is the core, and some of the sections you need to have added into your profile is the about section. And the about section is going to where you share a little bit about the problem that you are that you're seeking to solve. It's going to share some of the details about how people can contact you. It's going to share words that describe you, or just a summary of what you're looking for next in your career or in your ideal client or partner, whatever the case may be that you're trying to strategically build a relationship with, whatever the case may be. That's the core. Starts with the about section. In addition is your education. Where were you schooled? What kind of training do you have? Is it a trade school? Is it a 4-year school? Is it a 2-year associates? It doesn't matter. What's your high school? Is your master's? Do you have a doctorate? Plus. Okay. So your education. And what's nice about that is that starts getting LinkedIn helping you to connect with folks that are also alumni of the university or the college or the trade school that you have attended as well. So folks that LinkedIn is trying to connect you with could be sourced from your education status or your education experience and background. So that's kind of neat. And so I'm not getting into keywords here today per se. It's hard not to. I'm not getting into some of those technical details, but these are all sections in your profile for folks to read, of course. But this is also places for LinkedIn to connect you when folks are searching for those they need most, okay? Those they need most, and they need to be finding you. So in addition to you filling out these profile sections for you to look good on LinkedIn by a human being reading it, it's also what the algorithms, the back end formulas are working on to get you connected with the right people on LinkedIn, okay? Keep that in mind. And why I share that is to say, so when you put in your college, for me, the Ohio State University, then one of the ways LinkedIn is going to help me grow my network is by finding others that graduate from Ohio State, along with things that words that are in my profile that they're connecting with folks that have those same kind of words in those profiles, and using Ohio State as a nice foundation because we're both graduates of the same university. Make sense? Good. Again, just want to call out real quick too, this is a LinkedIn Live Q&A. So I always do teaching on these, but there's also at any time and any opportunity, whether you're watching this on any of the channels that this is being broadcast in, you can drop your comment in the chat there or in the comment box, whatever the case is for your preferred viewing media of choice. And I have it come and populate through my computer to let me know that you've asked a question. So go ahead and ask any questions, make any comments, and I'll be glad to get to you the answer. Okay, so thank you for that. Also positions. So core, about, education, and then positions. You want to make sure that your positions are listed there with regards to the work you've done in the past. This would be your work experience, right? Whether you're paid, whether it's an internship, whether it's volunteering, maybe there's even a gap in your career. LinkedIn has added opportunity for us to explain and justify, or at least just communicate that there's been gaps in the career, whether you maybe homeschooled your kids, or maybe you took a year off to travel, or maybe you went to write a book or work on this, that, or the other. There's opportunity for you to communicate gaps between jobs and between roles, so that there's an opportunity for you to share your story and showcase your value there. But all this is core stuff. This, for you to be effective out of the gate, these are the areas for you to have listed within your profile and to have populated as a part of LinkedIn's core content that's going to help you to be successful in building your LinkedIn profile over time. Not in a day, but over time, building those blocks one at a time, right? Okay. So there you go. That's the core. The second issue, or the second sections or group of sections, would fall under recommended content areas. These are recommended content areas. And these recommended content areas are places really for you to expand your reach within LinkedIn, to help you expand your reach on the platform, to help you make more connections more readily, more quickly. Okay. So the recommended place for the recommended sections look like this. These are your featured sections, okay? Your featured sections help you with more credibility. They help you give access to more opportunities. They help you share your story and showcase your value with media, with documents, with videos, maybe audio files. There's all kinds of ways for you to be able to stand out with regards to this, this featured section. Really cool. The recommended section, recommended starts with featured. And featured is really easy to add. You just go up to the top of your profile, right underneath your headline, right underneath, right above, when you start getting into your content areas, there's a little button that says add profile sections. And this is where you start finding a lot of these, what I'm about to share with you. So recommended is featured. And that's a fun one. You could even shoot like a little elevator pitch video and upload it there so people can know more about you. They see your face, they hear your voice, they see how you're professional, how you carry yourself, and so on and so forth. Another one is license and certification. So if you have any licenses or certifications in your area of work or things that you're working towards, you definitely don't want to miss the opportunity to put that in there. That can make you more attractive to the hiring manager, employer, or maybe opportunity to partner, or maybe do any kind of contract work because you've had licenses and certifications in these kinds of work areas that will allow you to promote yourself in a better way. How about any courses that you've taken? And I'm not just talking about collegiate courses. We talk about courses like my digital course, The Ultimate LinkedIn Profile, or my digital course, 7 Ways in 7 Days to Change Your Financial Future Forever. Or there are courses I personally taken on YouTube, and this software I use called Ecamm, which helps me broadcast to you today. I put those courses in there, and I put the names of those people that authored those courses and delivered those courses. Mostly because I like those people, and also because I want to share with prospective clients that I've gone through training that maybe may not be collegiate training or some kind of vocational training or technical training in a traditional sense, but through courses, through LinkedIn learnings opportunities. If you're a premium user on LinkedIn, you have access to like hundreds and hundreds of courses from what's called LinkedIn Learning, which is very nice, well professionally done, and you're able to share those kinds of things on this in this courses section. Okay, recommended. This is great, right? Recommended is recommendations. Having recommendations is huge opportunity for you, huge opportunity for you, huge opportunity for me to have third-party endorsements about what people will say about you in a nice little blurb. And one of the coolest things about these recommendations is that people have to go into LinkedIn themselves and write them and post them, and then you approve them. What that means is it gives it more credibility. I can't just go in and add anybody's verbiage into the recommended section and say, John Smith said this about me, right? John Smith would have to author that himself on his profile, within his profile, and then post it for approval by you, or in this case, by me. And that's really nice because that's a third-party endorsement that you didn't just add in or make something up. Not saying you would do that, but that helps give more credibility to the person that has it posted on their profile because they can't write it themselves. That is highly recommended. And I've shared in other videos that you do not want to wait for people just to recommend you because you think they like you, and they get busy. Everyone gets busy. They have to be reminded. They have to be asked. And I share with my kids and I share with folks I coach it. If you're going to get something out of this or get a recommendation, you have to A-S-K. That's ask, right? To G-E-T. Ask to get. You have not because you ask not. Ask people to recommend you. And you can do that right in that same section in recommendations is ask people to recommend you. Okay. That could be past employers. That could be past coworkers, past clients, folks that you've partnered with. Maybe you volunteered in Little League or volunteered at softball. You volunteered in Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or American Heritage Girls, whatever you want to call it. All right, Trail Life. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Ask those people you volunteered with or served with. Maybe it's a pastor, a rabbi, a friend, whatever the case may be. Ask them to recommend you. That's huge on LinkedIn, and not only for keywords, but for social proof and third-party endorsements of people that wrote that for you that said nice things about you, right? So good stuff. And you can then take excerpts of that, or I take screenshots of that, and I put that on my marketing, or I put that on my website, or I share those in other venues and avenues throughout LinkedIn and on social media as well. So don't miss that opportunity. And if you're in a job search, you can use those things in an interview, right? Take a screenshot of that, put that in an email, in a follow-up email. I mean, you can get creative all kinds of ways with this kind of stuff. So get really excited about that recommended section, because there's a lot of play there and a lot of cool different ways to do things other than just listing work experience like we did in the core area. Terrific. Good. So if you guys have any questions, comments, love to hear about them from you in the chat box. If you haven't liked yet or commented, please do so, or subscribe, or thumbs up, and smiley face, or flames, fire, whatever the case may be, all that stuff. I feel silly asking for that stuff, but it does really help me get this out to more people. So I appreciate your participation in these fun and games that we get to do on social media. Okay, so let's get into the third one, the third set of building blocks, the additional section. Add even more personality to your profile. These sections will help you grow your network and build more relationships, right? And these are a little bit more off-center. Okay, they're good, but they're just a little bit more different. And I didn't want to list them all in multiple slides because there's multiple additional sections. But the additional sections include volunteer experience, right? And by the way, all these sections, including volunteer work experience, wherever you can, elaborate a little bit on what you did, who you did it for, with what kind of attitude you did it, and ultimately demonstrating results. I think the LinkedIn profile that gets results shares results. And it's actually borrowed from a resume line where the resume that shares results get results. But this is all part of a strategy to help you get more clients, get more leads, or help you to nail that next job, or land that next job, and so on and so forth. So your LinkedIn profile needs to show results to get results. All right, and that includes even in volunteer world, right? There are some high level volunteer opportunities. Or maybe it's, I'll call it, not for disrespect, but grunt level, right? There's just sometimes you're the one sweeping up the campground, or you're the one cleaning up after the kids, or my wife does a great job of being team mom of our Little League team. And that's not easy stuff. I get the easy job. I'm out in the field having fun. She has the hard job of keeping kids focused and not swinging the bats, right? I mean, that kind of stuff is important. That kind of stuff also builds relationships. So these are volunteer opportunities. Don't sell yourself short. You didn't just volunteer. If you got results, let's list them. Have you been a part of any publications? Do you have your own publication? Have you written for a publication? Maybe you have patents. I work down the hall with a scientist here in this office, so we have multiple people, different kinds of people doing different kinds of jobs. And I think he has some patents, so he's probably got those listed on his LinkedIn profile. If he doesn't, he should. How about projects? What kind of projects have you been involved with? Maybe they're government, maybe non-government, volunteer, maybe they're for-profit, non-profit. What kind of projects have you worked on? What are you working on currently? Get that listed in there, share a little bit about that, and celebrate that, right? And then when you're done with it, put the final results in that section. That's where you're editing your section. That's why this is built over time, not in a day. So we're helping you get started with these three core areas, but over time, just make quarter turns, make tweaks to all these kinds of things. Okay, so what other additional things? How about honors? Especially for folks that are just starting their career. They can leverage honors in college, or leverage honors and awards that they received in high school, or whatever the case may be. And of course, test scores can kind of go along with that as well. It helps add credibility when you haven't worked or have a lot of work experience just yet, or maybe you're transitioning into a whole new kind of vertical market or industry, that kind of thing. Then these help out immensely, okay? And then you call them out. Guys, I just want to share with you too, LinkedIn, I'm going to jump on a camera here face to face with you. LinkedIn is huge when it comes to helping you get organized with your career, helping you to share your story, showcase your value, and not leave anything behind, right? Now, LinkedIn can't be customized for every job or every opportunity you're going after, but what it can do is be a master document or resource for your entire career or your entire calling, right? Your vocational calling. And that's what LinkedIn does. And you can also tweak it to make a difference when it comes to, anything that you're working on in the future as well, or ambitions you have. You can put that kind of stuff in there too. This is not just about all the stuff in the past, it's about the present and the future as well. So, my whole encouragement to you is try things out, track how they're received, and modify as you go. Got it? Good. So, let's jump back in here. So, again, additional volunteer, publications, patents, projects, honors awards, and test scores. That's the additional sections of LinkedIn that you can use to start building or to tweak or to rebuild, reformat your successful LinkedIn profile. So let's get a recap. Sound good? So let's recap here as we land this plane for today. So here we go. We got a successful LinkedIn profile. That's what we're trying to build. So there's our little LinkedIn house. We even have a car in the garage or in the driveway. We have friends hanging out with us. There's even a chandelier, I think, in that little house. Goodness gracious. So here's a successful LinkedIn profile, right? We got to start with the building blocks. We got to start with the core stuff, okay? We got to start with our sections that are core. That includes the about, that includes the education, and that includes positions, okay? Then we go to recommended, our second set of building blocks. That's where we get into featured, license and certifications, courses, and recommendations. And thirdly is additional. Additional is all that extra stuff, but still important and totally heavy with keywords, is volunteers, publications, patents, projects, honors awards, and test scores. So those three sections are really important for you. Those are the content areas that you want to keep in mind as you're building your successful LinkedIn profile. I would suggest knocking out the core first, getting that to a good place where you feel excited. Get some feedback on it, right? Get some people to interact with it. Get people's thoughts and feelings, and see how it's helping you make the right connections on LinkedIn, and then try, track, and modify from there. The second, again, is have fun. Have fun while getting it done, and don't be overwhelmed. This doesn't get done in a day. It gets done over time. I teach this stuff every single day, every single week. I put together these videos for you. And whether it's something that comes out of my head or research that I do, I'm always going like, A, am I doing that? Or B, is there a different way I can be doing something? And then I share that with you. So I'm really practicing all the same things that I'm sharing and teaching with you. Okay, so I do have a challenge. I'm going to start doing this, I think, every week. It's a little challenge as you get going. This is great stuff to receive, to listen. And if you're multitasking, come back to me. One of my trainers and mentors, Amy Porterfield, says that a lot, and I love it. And it's still hard to do because we're all thinking about things. We're thinking about things beyond the present, right? I get it. Take a second, breathe, and take on this challenge with me. To help you start building a successful LinkedIn profile, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to take action steps. So, Brian, what's the next step I should take? You might be asking. I want you to download my free LinkedIn Quick Start Guide. If you haven't gotten it already, this is a great place for you to just start. And this is kind of a summation or a kind of multiple iterations over the years of me when I used to critique people's profiles. I said, well, how do we just help people with all the critiques that I look at? And what are the major components or major areas that people need help with out of the gate? And what I've done is put those in a checklist kind of format here with a little bit of explanation and next steps you can take within your LinkedIn profile quick start guide to help you take advantage of these areas that I just mentioned, these content areas, as well as help you make the right connections fast, as well as you to make an impact and influence in your community, to share your story and showcase your value. So I really want to encourage you to download this LinkedIn profile quick start guide today. You can get it at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start. Okay, so that's really going to help you. So the recap for you, we just went over the core, recommended, and additional places. Those are the three areas to build a successful LinkedIn profile. So again, we can always take Q&A throughout. You may not have any, but if you do, let me know what it is. Let's get that LinkedIn Q&A done for you. Let's get any questions you have answered. So if you have some questions now, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on YouTube later or a video, you can still drop a comment in and I'd be glad to answer your question about this topic today that we talked about, how to start building a successful LinkedIn profile, or about anything regarding your specific profile or LinkedIn in general, you can drop that in the chat box. Doesn't look like we're getting any questions today, but if you, like I said, if you have one later, drop it in the comment. I'll get notified, and I'd love to get back to you because guaranteed other people have that same kind of question as well. Terrific. Again, one more reminder, download the LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide. You can get that at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start. Glad to get that to you. And of course, I'll be available for any questions you have from that as well. And in the meantime, please take a look at next Wednesday. Put in your calendar. We'll have a LinkedIn Live Q&A next Wednesday. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about yet, but I think I want to get into a little bit more detail, potentially about keywords, and help us really use those in search and whatnot. And so these are just blocking and tackling things that every single week within LinkedIn, sometimes they're very simple, but where are we doing them? And that's the question, right? And that goes for me. That goes for me as well. So LinkedIn Live Q&A next week at noon on Wednesday. And then in the meantime, throughout the week, submit your LinkedIn Live Q&A question to bit.ly/LinkedIn Ask Brian. And that just drops you to a Google form. You'll see it right then on there. You'll see the Brian Horvath on there. You'll know you're in the right place when you get there. Fire off your question. Love to use those as fuel to the fire to get the content car down the road to get you the right content and help you make the most out of LinkedIn. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel and also any other places on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram that you would find this video, that would be preferred as well. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn yet, go to LinkedIn and connect with me there at linkedin.com/in/the Brian Horvath. Would love to connect with you. So one more time, again, here's the LinkedIn Quick Start Guide, your LinkedIn Profile Quick Start Guide. You can get it at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn-quick-start. I'm so glad that you're a part of today's journey with me here on how to start building a successful LinkedIn profile. And the one that's successful is the one that's getting profile views, making the right connections, and the one that you deem is successful. I'm just here to help you get there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.